Hey guys, good morning and welcome to MorningLine. I'm Matthew Torres filling in for Nick Barris, and with me today is Paul Kenny, the certified mechanic of Precision Tune Auto Care. And while we're at it, where is your shop and how can people get a hold of you?
Murfreesboro Road in Antioch, right at Nashboro Village, and the number's listed on the 615-399-8863. Call if you have questions or you need to get something done or just need a little advice. We're community service there, so anytime.
But in the meantime, if you do have any questions, make sure to call 615-737+. I do have a question. I'm actually going to pull out my phone because a friend just asked, if your car continues to tell you the tire pressure is low, but you fill the tire and it does not appear to be low, what could be the issue?
Good question. All tires have sensors in them. One of those sensors not reading right or not reading at all, it's going to continually turn on that tire pressure monitoring system warning light. So yeah, it's you probably got a bad tire sensor and it may have to just be replaced or have to be recalibrated. All these have to be read and the information off that sensor transferred into the computer. They actually have like little serial numbers or frequencies on them. So yeah, get that checked out. As long as you know you've got the right air in the tires, you continue on about your daily basis. The sensor can be replaced at a later time, but it is good. It's a good little system, to be able to have that.
Are you an old school guy and use, correct me if I'm wrong, that tool that you can check the pressure, or do you like the electronic way of doing things?
Oh, those electronic ones never worked for a long time. we have several old school tire gauges that have the little sight glass on them, but the ones that my guys have are snap-on and they're very expensive. It's not the $2 tire gauge you get from AutoZone, because you have to really be accurate with these new tires and the monitoring systems on it. Yes.
Are you surprised though that some people just don't know that, just how to
well, we've had all this technology thrown at us so fast.
True.
And cars are changing. Looking at cars with my wife, they've got front and rear cameras. They've got surround cameras. I had a guy ask me, well, where's the camera on the top of the roof that it shows 360 degrees around the car? Well, it's basically digitally graphed, and you have proximity sensors and stuff. But so there's no camera flying over you, sign off a GPS. But there's so much on these cars now, a lot more than the first space shuttle that went up. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
It doesn't help too that you can just go to any shop and they can just check it for you.
Well, yes, and it's become easier,
Gosh, we're so lazy.
to just have somebody do it. But for your own safety and traveling, you got to know certain things about your car. Pull out that owner's manual, find out where your spare tire is, find out where your jack is. There's nothing worse than being on the side of the road, not knowing what to do or having to learn at that point. And unfortunately, it's not quite how it used to be. If somebody pulled over, had a flat in 5 minutes, there'd be 3 people there willing to help. Yeah.
Different culture, different society.
Times have changed. Yes.
Well, I will say I learned it the hard way how to how to change a tire. All right, let's go to the lines.
All right.
Smiley, I love that name. What's your question?
Thank you. This would be in regards to cleaning the terminals on your battery. I've been using baking soda and vinegar, which obviously causes a chemical bubbling reaction. Now, would this be recommended or not, or should I use something else to clean the terminals?
Actually, that is probably an environmentally sound way of doing it. And what you're doing, the bubbling, is the neutralization of the battery acid on your terminals. And as long as it's doing a good enough job, and you're getting down into the terminals, sometimes you got to take that battery terminal loose to get down in there and clean it good. There's nothing wrong with that method right there. That's been used for a long time. Now, yes, you can go to the auto parts store and buy some spray that basically foams up and does the same stuff. There's no telling what kind of chemical that spray actually is. It may be just aerosol vinegar and baking soda when you boil it down, but that works just well. I'd keep using it. Be sure once you do that that you rinse off or take a rag and clean up as much of that as you can so it doesn't get around other areas on your battery. Then use a protectant over those battery terminals. Homeschool, Vaseline. Of course, don't take your wife's thing of Vaseline out of the bathroom and use it on the battery terminals, then put it back. But they make protectant spray for that as well, and it keeps the corrosion from coming back. But keeping that battery maintained is a good thing for you to do.
I have a question. My car, I don't know if this is even a mechanic question. It's a 2000. It's a Toyota Camry,
okay.
But then that particular model, it's the dash, the front. It's sticky.
Yeah.
And it's now kind of like somewhat melting, and you can't scrub things away. It has this weird residue.
Huh.
And I think it's obviously the heat. I just don't know if it's because of the product or the material used just above the dashboard.
Okay, it wasn't the communal car for the frat house when you were in college or anything, was it? Yeah, it may be that the linoleum or the rubber is deteriorating.
Right.
You know, Armor All, any of that stuff doesn't work for you?
No.
Okay.
I feel like it needs to be replaced or something.
Yeah, well, then you may just have to put a new dash pad on it, or
that's what it's called, dash pad.
or get creative and just throw you a handful of sand out there and pretend it's the beach, you know.
Oh, great. All right, thanks for that. Hey, Jewel, thanks for calling. What's your question?
Top of the morning, Matthew.
Top of the morning. I like that. I should just greet everyone. Top of the morning.
Top of the morning.
Top of the
there
morning,
you
Paul.
go.
Top of the morning to you.
That's an old Irish clip. It goes top of the morning and the rest of the day, too.
I like
there you
that.
go.
Thanks for the positive attitude so far this morning.
Yeah, it does. I'm glad you got your mechanic back on there again. Good morning
Oh, no.
to him.
Oh, no. Hey, how you doing?
I reckon all right, but my truck, it's got some ailing, and I'll try to be brief.
All right.
It's a 1995 V6 Dodge Dakota.
Okay.
All right. Some time ago, it was needing some tending to, so I got every sensor that is on that truck replaced. All right, then. And somehow or another, when I'm going down a road, it pauses for maybe a split second or three, like it's catching its breath, but then it will continue on driving fine. Now, I never got a speeding ticket, so I don't drive erratically, if you will.
Right. And your passing emissions, no check engine light or anything, no indication?
Let me just finish, please,
okay.
If you will, and hopefully you can find out what's wrong. I took it over to the dealership in Dixon, and I don't know if the young lady that is working there still, and I ain't trying to be ugly, but she was very short, very unkind, very unprofessional, and when I tried to describe what was wrong with my truck, she wasn't making any notes, no anything, and so I just left in frustration, and I asked, can I see someone in charge? Oh, everybody's out with the flu, or they're just too busy right now. And so I left, and I've been wanting to go back, but not if she's still there, because I know I ain't going to get no kind of considerate service. And I hope who's ever listening has any authority to get somebody in there that's more kind to their patrons and get rid of her anyways. So my fuel pump went out. And when that happened, we put it back in. My friend, who was a jet mechanic, the government flew him all around the world to work on jet airplanes. Anyways, we got a fuel pump back on. Now the RPM gauge don't work. The gas gauge is stuck on full. I have turn signals and emergency lights, but I have no headlights, tail lights, brake lights, and horn. But the radio plays. Now there's a quandary for you, and I sure hope you can tell me what to do. And if there's anything you can do to help me, I'd like to make an appointment with you and get this problem solved. I need transportation. I live out here in the sticks. I'm 73 years old and in good health. But I can depend on no one if I can help it. And I'll hang up and give you a listen.
Well, let me ask you one question. With all these electrical problems after the fuel pump was done, does the vehicle still run?
Oh, I think he hung up.
Oh, okay. All right, wow.
That's we should call that the Car Chronicles.
Multi-layered problem there. And, you know, scenario one, probably had a bad fuel pump. That'll make him hesitate. Cut out, got the fuel pump replaced by his jet mechanic. So obviously the guy knows his stuff and can take something apart and put it back together. But if all these problems arise after the fact, something may have moved, shifted, pulling the wiring harness, pickup truck, you either have to pull the bed or drop the tank. I would have him check grounds on the wiring harness, anywhere along that frame or where the battery actually grounds to the body. Check that harness going to the gas tank. It may have got pinched when they put the gas tank up. You're going to need somebody that it just does electrical. Okay. Unfortunately, I'd refer you to the dealer. You may try a different dealer with that, but it's going to be in the electrical system. A short, something not getting connection. It's going to take time and money to hunt it down, and yeah, you got a lot of problems, but it all seems to be, from what I was catching on the phone, pretty much with the same circuit. It could be in the fuse box itself, something crossing over. So yeah, that's a tough one. Good luck to you. I hope that you find the problem, but go back over the harness from the gas tank all the way back up. Get your buddy to come look and see if you can see anything that didn't get hooked back up, a ground wire that's bolted to the frame, something like that. And hopefully, it's going to be more of a stumbling upon it type thing until you get in there with a voltmeter and just start checking. Other than that, the electrical guy at the dealer may be the only one to run that down.
Oh man, that sounds stressful.
Yeah, that really, your heart goes out to people when you get in a situation like that and you try to fix one thing and things get worse. And you got a good viable truck underneath you,
right?
And it's sometimes it's just time getting in there and finding it. And then once you find it, you're like, why didn't I look there first? Well, you can't. You got to start. You got to start with the battery and work your way back on electrical stuff.
Do some searching.
Right.
All right. I know we have some callers on the line. Make sure to stick around if you do have any questions. 615-737+. Ask the Mechanic with Paul Kenny. We'll have much more.
The Storm